Hi there, it's Mandy and welcome back to my channel. Today we are actually doing a furnishing video for my current household. This is part one of a two-part video because this is only one side of a townhouse build that I did. If you're not familiar with what a townhouse is, you do find them a lot more in the city opposed to in the suburbs. Physically, it does have a house shell, but you do live side by side with other tenants and you do share a wall, sort of like an apartment. Depending on the setup, if you are part of a condo community or you're part of a little village type thing, you can have monthly rent, you can have a landlord, stuff like that. Or sometimes if it's standalone, you can buy it outright and you can just pay a monthly mortgage, just like a house. But as far as this build in particular goes, like I said, it is for my current household, and I've been playing with two sisters who are both single mothers, and to be quite honest, I couldn't decide which one of their kids I wanted to continue the next generation with, because I do like both of the stories that they have going on right now. So I figured I'm gonna make them a condo / townhouse. That way they each have their own separate space and their separate home, kind of, but I can still play both of them at the same time, and I can see where I want to go from there. I'm sure once they start having kids, it's probably going to get a little bit overwhelming, just because even though I built two separate houses, it's still going to be considered one whole household, so playing with 8 Sims can be a little much, but so hopefully I figure that out by then. And since I have the option to only allow specific Sims through certain doors, I should be able to keep it so the front and the back door only allow in the correct Sims into the right side. If that made any sense at all. Also, there are a couple things about this build that I did want to point out to you. One being, you will keep seeing me go over to this wall that has photos on it that I keep pulling pictures from, that I can put, on end tables to decorate for clutter, hang on walls. And that's just because I'm big on customizing any of my houses that I make for my current households, just because I've been playing this legacy for so long. It just makes it a little bit easier to kind of keep track on what generation we're on and what we're doing at that point in time. A quick little tip on that I've learned is to just copy your gameplay file. My own personal preference is I change my Sims clothes just because I like it better having pictures on the wall that's not the same outfits that the Sims are wearing on a daily basis. I use Andrew's Pose Player, and the majority of the poses that I do use I get off Tumblr or the Sims resource. Most of them are by Beto_A0. I'll link all those references down below for you. And then I just move a random Sim into the household, give them one of the high quality cameras, and I have them take pictures of the posed Sims. I do have them take a bunch of photos in the little small pictures and in the big ones, because sometimes you will see me do a gallery wall. And the small pictures look better when you're placing them in as clutter because they look a little bit more realistic. But when it does come to the gallery walls or anything like that, the larger pictures always look better sized down opposed to the smaller pictures being sized up. After I do fish through the photos, make sure they're all of decent quality, there's no gnomes photobombing, there's no blurriness, there's no fingers over the lens, I draw a wall and put them all on the wall and just upload it as a room to my library. That way I can take it from that save into my current live mode save. So something else I did want to point out to you guys is that you do already see some appliances as well as plumbing in here. That's because I wanted to make it as realistic as possible, so, when you do move into a home, there already is stuff usually left behind. I'm not sure if it's different for anywhere else in the country, but here in Massachusetts, when you do sell a home, you have to sell it either with a fridge or a stove. Most of the time, you do see it with both, but it does have to be one or the other. And of course, the realism factor is also why I already have the walls painted, floors are already done, and that's also why you do see everything in a neutral color, just because I wasn't quite sure how I wanted to decorate it yet. And I also wanted to keep it as close to the real estate listing that I found as possible. Side note, I don't know if this table's even going to be functional. I think these chairs are going to be way too close to the walls. But I've seen stranger things happen, so fingers crossed that it works. If it doesn't, I'm just gonna expand the house just one tile back and just shrink the deck a tiny bit. I did think about just putting a breakfast bar, but one, I didn't like the way it looked. And the more I thought about it, I do have, you know, my current households are always the one who's always hosting all the family functions like Winterfest, Harvest Fest, Independence Day, stuff like that. So the longer the table I have, the more food I can put out. This is a huge, like I said, a huge legacy. So all the parties are always maxing out at the 15 Sims, and there's usually a couple that I have to skip over. Or I have to rotate between at the different parties, I should say. The last thing I did want to point out to you is this is just the furnishing part of the build. That is because when I do the actual build, I take forever doing it. I'm talking it's usually about 2 to 3 hours between the actual shell of the house as well as the landscaping out front. And it's usually because I'm going by a reference photo. And as you know, reference photos are pretty much all trial and error just because real houses are really hard to replicate. So basically the only way you're ever going to get like a full house build is going to be spread out over 2 different videos between the shell and the furnishing. I'm just a hot mess of a human, what can I say? Alright, we finally made it to the upstairs. I actually had to do the upstairs over a span of a couple days because it got to the point where I was just about to leave the second room completely empty. You know when you get that furnishing fatigue and you're just like, I don't even care what this looks like, and you just kind of throw things down, not matching colors, and it's just like, I'll fix it later, and then you never do. That's how this went. But I came back the next day in real time and I fixed it. And you and I both know that the first furnishing / build upload I do can't be half-assed, because then it's going to look like that's what I do all the time, which is 100% not the case at all. Oh, here I was trying to make a little reading nook because the sim that this side of the house is for, she's a bit of a bookworm, and I just think it's so cute when they sit at the window and read. Also, if you did catch me change the color of that couch to green in the middle of that transition, don't worry, I do change it again in a couple minutes, just because actually looking at it, that corner just had way too much green in it, and it didn't look right. This closet is also not intended to be functional. If it does end up being great, if not, I'm not going to cry about it. Like I said, I was going by those reference photos. This is really more for aesthetic, and since we do have that walk-in closet option now, I figured I'm going to build one just so it looks decent through the slats of the door. Ooh, and those are our 2 heirs. So it's the 2 girls. So we have Amber and Casey. They're the ones I can't choose between quite yet. Like I said, I like both their stories. Right now, it's Amber's house that we're working on. It's going to be her and her husband, Danny. Just them. They have no kids at the moment. Like I said, she is a bookworm, so she does like to read. And her aspiration is the... what is it? It's the... I don't remember what it's called, but it's the one where you have to max up the logic skill and the handiness skill. I want to say it's a jack of all trades. But her only income at the moment is selling woodworking sculptures on Plopsy. But homegirl's going to have to get a real job because I can only imagine what these bills are going to be looking like once those start rolling in. And that picture right there, I wanted to make it look like it was Amber and Danny at prom. 1, because look how cute it is, and 2, because it also emphasizes the fact that they were high school sweethearts. And fun fact for the day, I actually didn't go to my prom. Actually, that's a lie. I went to my junior prom, I didn't go to my senior prom, but I don't have any kind of picture like that. Oh yes, we just changed the color of the couch. See, I told you we're going to change it. I wanted to make it so it was pink like the rug, that way we had a little bit more pop of color. So now I'm going to go ahead and I'm probably going to, not probably, I am. I'm going to put more pink things throughout the room to help tie everything together. This house does actually have a basement, but we'll cover that in the next video. It is a shared basement between the 2 sides of the house, and that's where you're going to see the woodworking table and all the stuff that you do usually find in a basement. We're also going to tackle the deck in the next video, just because, again, it's another shared unit between both sides of the house. To be honest, I don't really know why I just didn't add it to this video, because the other side of the house has way more rooms, and it's probably going to take me way longer than this, but again, I say it is what it is. And I really struggled with these paintings just because it doesn't have like the gray tint to them the way like the rug and the bed and everything did. So I know that painting has like that brightness to it, but to be fair, I usually always play with the windows, the walls half up, so I'm probably not going to see it, and I can say there's a painting there. Alright, 4 minutes of this video and voiceover left. I'm going to be honest with you, I was actually really nervous about what I'm going to talk about for 14 minutes, well, probably 13 and change before the screenshots and the title card come on at the end. But it was actually a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. I guess I just didn't know how interesting I am. I say like I talked about literally anything besides this build. Anyway, we are almost done here. This is our last bathroom to do. I always size down these lights, by the way. I'm sure you've noticed me do it. If not, because I might have edited that part of the video out, I could be wrong. I just like the lightness. I like the lightness that the light brings. The brightness that the light brings. So I just size it down, or now that they have the little small version, I just use a small version of it. I pop it into the stem. What would you call that? The stem or the pole that has the wires in it in real life? I don't know. I just put it on top of the light just so it blends in. And that way I get the decorative light, but I still get the brightness of that little small illumination light. I'm going stir crazy now, guys, I think. But it had good timing because we are finally on our last room of this side of the house. I always had a little statue like that dog that was giving me a hard time to these CC books just because they kind of lean a little bit, and I just wanted to make it, again, look a little bit more realistic by having something holding them up. And it looks like I'm in a severe thunderstorm watch until 10 o'clock tonight. That is super exciting. Let's hope that holds off so I can get this video uploaded. If not, that would be super, super annoying. But as I was saying before the weather so rudely interrupted me, this room I actually turned into a office / hangout area. I've also been toying around with the idea of having Amber write some books for a little extra cash, like I said, because I know these bills are going to be outrageous. And for the 14th time that she is a bookworm, so she should be pretty decent at it, I would think. And oh, I also didn't even realize how much CC I used in this house. I mean, I don't really have a lot, but it's almost like the stuff that I did have, I did use. So I should probably, well, like I said, it's for my current household, so no one's gonna really play in it but me. And after all this hard work, I don't even know how long I'm gonna be in this house because it's only gonna be a matter of time before I pick an heir and we move along to a new house. Because again, I say, 8 Sims tends to get a little overwhelming for me, and my computer monitor is also square. So when I am in live mode and I am playing, the icons at the bottom that give you the option to choose which Sims that you want to control, they tend to get smaller and smaller the more Sims I have in the house. So the goal is to get a new monitor, and you probably didn't even notice until I said something, so now you're going to notice all the time that my aspect is a little bit squished just because it is square. That's why you have those big black lines on the side of the screen. So I just ratted myself out, it's fine. I can also hear this bird that just perched itself on my windowsill, and I can hear him like scratching at the window. So that's also a thing. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but I certainly can. If you can, it was good timing on the bird's part because it looks like we did reach the end of this video. I'm surprised I actually made it this long, like I said, finding something to rant about. So enjoy the screenshots. I am going to get going, and like they make me say at my big girl job, I appreciate every single one of you, except in this case, I actually do mean it when I say it to you. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.